All right, today we're jumping into a fantastic story. It's really all about brains over brawn. And it centers on a problem I think we can all relate to, right? Being desperately thirsty. So let's meet Corvus, a crow who is staring down what seemed like an impossible sip. So our story kicks off, and right away you can feel the desperation. Our hero, Corvus, is just absolutely parched. You can practically feel that dry heat, that scratchy throats, just from hearing him. I mean, he'd trade his most prized possession, a shiny gum wrapper, no less, for just one drop of water. Wow.
Okay, so let's set the scene. Picture this. It's one of those scorching hot days where the air just feels heavy, you know? And there's Corvus. Now, you gotta understand, he's not your average crow. This guy is a total high-energy gadget geek. He's even got these tiny little flight goggles perched right on his head.
He's parched, he's panting, just scanning the horizon for anything. And then he sees it. There, sitting on this empty patio table, is a salvation. A tall, vintage-looking glass jar. To him, in that moment, that's not just a jar. That is the Holy Grail. It's everything.
But of course, it's not going to be that easy. As he gets closer, he realizes this beautiful oasis is actually a really tough challenge. The very thing that promises to save him is, well, it's an infuriating puzzle. Yeah, he's up against way more than he bargained for.
So Corvus hops up on the table, and he starts circling this jar, kind of sizing it up like an opponent, and he can see the prize clear as day. Down at the very bottom, there are 2 inches of gorgeous, crystal-clear water just shimmering. It's waiting for him. But as we all know, seeing something and actually getting to it, totally different stories. I mean, his goal couldn't be simpler, right? He just wants a long, satisfying sip of water. But the obstacle, well, it's just basic physics. He leans in, stretches as far as his little neck will go, but his beak just isn't long enough. He's 3 inches too short. Can you imagine the frustration? That gap is standing between him and survival. And this part just perfectly captures his frustration. After trying and failing, he pulls his head out of the jar, and you really get a sense of his personality. You can just picture this muffled complaint coming from a very clever, very annoyed bird who's like, seriously, who designed this thing? He knows a design flaw when he sees one.
So, what's his first instinct? Well, it's the same thing most of us would probably do brute force, right? If you can't get to it, just knock the whole thing over. But as he's about to learn, that's not always the best plan.
First up, he puts his whole body into it, trying to push the jar over. Nope, doesn't budge. It's way too heavy. Okay, plan B. He starts pecking at the glass, trying to break it. And again, nope, that glass is too strong. So yeah, his brute force approach, a total failure.
And this is that low point, you know? The moment of crisis. Corvus is just sitting there on the table, totally defeated. He feels like he's tried everything and nothing has worked. His eyes just kind of drift over to a pile of colorful pebbles nearby, and that's when the light bulb goes off.
Okay, this right here is the turning point. This is the moment Corvus stops trying to be a battering ram and starts thinking like a scientist. The solution wasn't about pushing harder. It was about thinking differently, a whole new approach. So he's fiddling with one of these pebbles, and suddenly, bam, the light bulb goes off. Some old, dusty memory from a science lesson just clicks into place. He connects the dots. The pebbles, the water, the jar, it all comes together. He has his big eureka moment. And the solution is one of those things that's so simple once you see it, right? It's the principle of displacement. We see this all the time. You drop ice cubes into a full glass, and the liquid level rises. Suddenly Corvus gets it. He doesn't have to lower his beak to the water. He just has to raise the water to his beak. So with his brilliant new plan, Corvus just springs into action. All that frustration is gone. Now, it's all about focus, determination, and just getting it done. He drops the very first pebble into the jar. You hear that satisfying little plop? And the result is immediate. It's tiny, sure, but it's there. The water level goes up by just 1 millimeter. But hey, that's not nothing. That's proof of concept. His theory actually works. And now that he knows it works, it's just a numbers game. Corvus becomes this blur of motion, just zipping back and forth between the pebbles in the jar. It's like a frantic one-crow assembly line, just going at full speed. And with every single trip, you can see the water level just climbing. Pebble by pebble, it goes up and up. It starts at the bottom. Pretty soon, it's at the halfway mark, and with a little more work, it gets so close to the top. All right, after this flurry of activity, we're here. The final, crucial moment has arrived. All that smart thinking, all that hard work,
It's all about to pay off in the best way possible. The last pebble sinks into the water, and the water finally reaches the top. You can just imagine Corvus wiping a little sweat off his brow with his wing, straightening his goggles, and declaring victory. Science wins. A total knockout for clever problem solving.
And there it is, the moment he's been working for this whole time. He leans in, and this time, the water is right there for him. He takes that long, well-earned, luxurious sip. You can just feel the relief.
Before he flies off, he kind of turns to us, gives a confident little wink, and drops the main lesson of this whole story. It wasn't about more muscle, was it? It was just about a much, much better idea.
And that really leaves us with something to think about, doesn't it? I mean, we all have those impossible jars in our own lives, right? Problems that just seem too big, totally out of reach. But what Corvus showed us is that maybe, just maybe, brute force isn't the way. Maybe the answer is just about looking around and finding the right pebbles.